Merry Christmas to you all. Yeah! From Mexico with love with my beautiful and very warm PJs from China. These are so great. Like, seriously, they're so warm and cozy, and hopefully you don't mind that I'm here with this. Although I'm not fully in PJs, but just having this here gives me some cozy feeling. Anyhow, by the way, Guadalajara is quite cold now. Today I received this letter or this text via email. By the way, I have my contact information down below in the comment section if you wanna contact me in any case that you wanna collaborate or work together. So there was this guy. This is from my love story channel. I believe he's from somewhere in Latin America, Spanish-speaking country, because he sends a letter in Spanish. So the letter says as follows. I have been following your channel since a while ago, and I've met a Chinese woman online. We have been speaking every single day, every time that she has a chance or I have the chance, because since the time zone is quite different, we don't have that chance very often. While I'm working, she's working, and when she's working, I'm working, so it's quite hard. I would like to speak to her more. Nonetheless, I really love to talk to her. So somehow he's been entangled in this story, which who knows if it's real or not, because it's online. And as far as you know, or if you don't know yet, you can meet people from China online, and you never really know if they're real until you know they're real. And by this, I mean that it's been happening that in the recent times, like last few years or months, few years, I discovered that in the Taobao, like online platform, retail store, you can even purchase packs of like either photos or videos of a certain persona. Like, let's say there is this fit girl, and you can purchase her photos and her videos, like 30 videos, 60 pictures for this amount. Super cheap, by the way. Or like there is this guy who is very well put together, attractive, I don't know, a Asian doctor, or a guy, a business someone, and the pack consists of pictures and videos of that person. I'm not sure, you guys, if are well aware of this. How do they steal this information? Or maybe people sell them this, I'm not sure. Anyhow, most of those personas or these identities or these packs of people are quite good looking. They're quite attractive, and it's a perfect tool for those wanting to target like loners around the internet. So what they will do, either companies or individuals, they will purchase these packs, and they will, this multimedia, photos and videos of certain persons, and they will just put a name on it, like let's say James, or like Diana, or you name it. You just put a name on that person's face, either male or female, and you go on an app like Bumble or Tinder or Facebook, either Facebook dating or elsewhere, and they just start posting all these pictures, all these videos with that certain name, targeting people that want to date these ones, like these individuals, right? So they just pretend that these individuals are them. And how you end up knowing is not them until you request a video call. Because usually if these packs have like video, like they have like a few videos, people is like shopping, people is eating, people is like just doing daily random things, like very common and usual, not like really acting. So you are very unaware that video is not taken by the person at that moment that he or she is doing certain activity. It's quite real, like the feeling of receiving that video, like it's quite raw, like, oh, he's eating, and he will be like, hey, I'm eating my breakfast. That person at the other side of the screen will be telling you he or she is eating the breakfast, and they will send you this a selfie, picture, or video eating breakfast. So you will be very confused, or not confused, you will be really not knowing the person typing is not the person that is on the photos and videos. And this is, of course, coming to a scam. So unless you request a video call from them, and even though I have been receiving some cases where they have requested a video call, they still somehow manage to appear in the video, but very weirdly, and still the person in the video is the person like appearing on those photos and videos. Nonetheless, the majority of times, 80% of the times, they don't accept the video call request because they are just sure that at that time they will be caught, because of course they don't look like the person there, and they just use these photos and videos to scam people that, because they are attractive, they try them to make them fall in love with them a few days, like I miss you, I love you, good morning, how are you, loners here at the other side of the world needing some attention, texts, good morning, hugs, whatever. It's easy just to fall down for this, and with time, just like this comment here says, like, oh, I want to speak more and more with her. Who knows if this one is real, right? With time you discover something, like either they try to tell you to invest in Binance, crypto, or investing other whatever, or send you a gift and you have to pay for customs. There are so many different scams. Nonetheless, these relationships that you are somehow partaking of, or this kind of situationships that you are taking part of, are not real, and the majority of times these individuals are not the individuals typing you good morning, I love you, I miss you. They are just photos of some strangers, and these scammers are using them in order to target you and to make you fall in love because they're attractive, they look super rich, they look super beautiful, super sexy. So this is happening. I am sure that maybe some of you guys here can identify with this situation, can somehow relate to these situations. It has been happening to a lot of my followers in my relationship culture Chinese channel. So what do you guys think about that? If you have a story, please let us know in the comments. Anyhow, this one guy is quite in love with this girl at this moment. Not like in love, but like he's like just telling us like he would like to speak to her more and more, but they don't have the time, and they have just been like texting, and maybe he has seen some pictures of her, and he has this question which I wanna consult with you guys. So he says like, my question is, in the Chinese culture respecting in respects to sex, in the family and religion, sorry, I was wrong. So it's like, okay, regarding this subject, sex, how is the Chinese culture like? Because in my family, this is what he's saying, and upon my religion, we don't have to have any intimacy outside the marriage. So from my side, I'm a very like unexpert, like he's just doesn't have any experience regarding this subject, supposedly. And I already told her, but do you think that it's wrong from my side to ask her about this subject? Because if everything goes well and I want to travel to China to meet her, I don't want to get to know this info from someone else than her. And I would like to know that info better from her, coming from her. And she says that she will be coming after Chinese New Year, after February. So she will be here. He is writing from Italy, although he speaks Spanish. And he says that she has been commenting that the Chinese men are quite unloyal. And he asks me whether or not this is true. Well, not just Chinese men, Mexican men are also quite the same. I don't know who's even worst. Sometimes Chinese men do it for the sake of business and intro, like, these kind of formalities. I do think that sometimes they will prefer to be asleep at home than drinking and having fun with the girls, because they just do it in order to be part of this business culture in China. And at times they are quite overwhelmed with it. And in Mexico, I don't think it plays that kind of a role. It's very intentional, and it's more emotional. It's more, it's coming from an initiative itself to be part of these unloyal affairs, to be part of a situationship. Whereas in China, it can be that way too, but I believe it's more how the culture regarding business sees you. Like, if you are a man of money, of power, and you're not being part of this parties with girls, it's not very well seen. Anyways, it's quite less emotional in China. At the same time, it's not like, oh, I love you, I miss you, I would like to be with you forever. I don't see it that way in China. I'm not saying at some point, at any I'm not meaning that I'm forgiving them more because of that, but somehow here it's quite more emotional. Like, men here will be texting women their affairs, their lovers, some really deep, profound, romantic words like, you're so beautiful. Although I mean, not just this, but I mean, like, oh, you're the love of my life, although he's married already. And they both know that he's unavailable, but he will be taking part of this, like, romantic novel outside of a marriage, where he and she, the lover, are very well aware of it, but they still take part of it gracefully, about loving each other so deeply and being in a prohibited relationship. Whereas in China, I don't think it takes that kind of a direction in regards to feelings and emotions. Like, it's not that emotional. It's not that I love you, I miss you. Like, it's more, one, when it comes to business, it's about the formalities, and second, maybe also is to show power among other men, and maybe it's just habits. Like, I'm not saying they're good habits, but it's just like cultural. Like, you go to KTV, there are girls. You go to, like, massage, there are girls. You go to the disco, there are girls. It doesn't mean here in Mexico there are not girls, but there is quite different, like, the dynamics. So yeah, I'm not sure, like, how I see things is like, whenever some, like, man is taking part of an affair in China, he's married, he can be part of, I mean, he can be with many girls. I'm not saying that he is better than an unloyal Mexican man, but let's say he is going to this meeting with this other someone and they're girls on Monday. So he's being with those girls, kissing or other, I don't know. They're gone by Tuesday. I mean, he's not really missing them or falling in love with them or, like, texting them. And Wednesday, maybe he's gone to another event, like social event, where there are also girls or where there's, like, alcohol. So he will be taking part of another loyal scene. And that's it. When he's home, those girls are over for him. I mean, of course, maybe there can be times where there are affairs. I have a story, by the way, with a Mexican guy, but I'm not gonna tell it in this video. Maybe in another one, or should I tell it now? Anyways, but he's a Mexican one, of course. um, so I see it's more cold, not like really romantic. So therefore, whenever there is like this, I mean, not all of that is like that. Of course, there are some romantic affairs happening in China as well. But the majority of unloyalty, I believe, is happening from a not emotional aspect of like loving that person, which maybe is even worse because it's more like superficial. It's just like I want to satisfy my pleasure, my desires at this moment with that girl. It doesn't matter, she's gone by tomorrow, and tomorrow she's gone, that one of tomorrow will be gone after tomorrow. So maybe that seems even more less, how to say, respectable, like less, I don't know, maybe if you have love involved somehow it's even better. I don't know which one is even worse. Anyways, this is what's happening. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that story. I used to have this friend, so he will be going to China very often, as often is like every month. And because he was a Mexican, we kind of had this friendship bond. I was a student in Shenzhen Uni. I introduced him to places, and one of those places was a massage place, which he ended up loving. We went there very often, maybe when he was in Shenzhen 2 or 3 times, and somehow he ended up like entangling himself with one girl from that place, one massageuse. How do you call her? Anyways, one massage girl, Chinese girl. How I ended up knowing about this affair is because he didn't come for a few months, and just after that, like maybe 5 or 6 months, and he was taking some time, and I ended up asking what happened finally when he was back, or when he was there, sorry, when he was here in Mexico, texting, and he's like, oh, I am fired because, I am in big trouble because his by then fiance or like spouse, they were not married but they were living together, and ended up finding out because of the text he was sending to this girl back in China. I suppose maybe loving text, or maybe not so loving, just like pleasure text, I don't know, I didn't get to see them. Somehow he said like she ended up finding out, and she didn't let him be going to China that often. And if you're watching this, and if you're a male, I'm sure that you also were happy to, be part of the China scene by yourself. Yeah, it's very exciting for men to be there by themselves. Anyways, this is what happened. And after some time he came, and he was telling me how he didn't detailedly say what happened, but he was going or having an affair with this one girl from the massage place, and ended up breaking with her because of the spouse in Mexico finding out. So they had this relation, or at least connection, through messages and texts, and yeah, she ended up finding out. So maybe, as you can see, once again, the point is like they build somehow a connection, a relation. They say some romantic words or this and that, compared to, I have seen many men in China, they're quite cold. They just go and they just, business is business, and they can be with girls and that, this and that, but they will not get entangled very easily with one. I don't know if that is even worse, because that means they can be with so many more without having that attachment, and they are not being unloyal itself because of love. And these other ones are intentionally being unloyal because they have feelings for other ones outside of their marriage or the relationship. So they are intentionally texting, good morning, I love you, I miss you, while the other ones are not, but they are quite intentionally sleeping around girls many girls which they don't have, or they will not build any connection whatsoever. But that's a little bit not healthy at the end. I've seen some videos in TikTok that they promote, or they advert people how like HIV is like going on the rise in China, especially because of these situations that I'm talking. So yeah, what do you guys think about it? And regarding his question on whether or not he should ask this girl about whether she's been with men, how many, and this and that, because upon him, he hasn't been with any so far, and he's not willing to until he gets married. Oh, by the way, I was going to tell another story. So regarding this issue, it's quite unfair because men usually don't want that for the one that they want to choose, but they want that for the one that is like just on the way. Like, let's say that one man is sleeping with maybe 5 to 10 girls, but he doesn't want to marry them or have a long-lasting relationship, and for the one that he wants to marry, he will prefer her to be just pure. I have this story. When I was living in China, I ended up being friends with a girl that was dating a guy from Dubai, that they somehow started a relationship, and he said from the beginning, like, I will not marry you because my family and my values are aligned for me to just marry a Muslim girl that will be chosen by my family, and sooner or later that's how I will do it, no matter what I do now. So somehow they started a relationship and becoming a boyfriend and girlfriend for 8 years, and after that it was so easy for him to say, like, so it's time, my family found a girl and she's a virgin girl living there in Dubai, so I have to go now because I have to marry. And as crazy as it sounds, it's just like really nonsense, like how one man would like to sleep over with as many girls as he can, because this is as he can, especially when I'm emphasizing these words, is like the fault is not on him, it's on the ones letting that happen. So this, how to say, he just arrives until, I mean, he does whatever is allowed him for him to do, right? So this girl from, like, she was advised that this was not going to happen. Nonetheless, she had the hope that somehow he could be falling in love with her year after year and maybe canceling such plans, but that didn't happen. And he ended up going there to marry a pure girl, while he was so impure for all these years going out with this girl, and who knows, other ones in China. Like, how can you have the face to just do this kind of really low behavior situations? Like, you are a man and you want a pure girl, but you can do all this nonsense in China with a girl that was quite worth taking. She's a very valuable woman, but she wasn't Muslim and she wasn't pure, so she was not for him to marry. And who knows if he somehow had other affairs, and he's going there with all this experience behind, marrying this pure girl because he deserves that. So it's quite, somehow very difficult to judge. Sometimes they want to obtain this kind of women, but they also are not willing to take part in this kind of culture of, like, okay, you want that one girl to be pure, then you also better put yourself in that situation where you don't fall into not purity as the one you wish, with other girls, just throwing them like trash afterwards, because you are well aware that what you want is that and not them. They're still girls, and you are also taking part of this culture of, like, using as many as you can, just for at the end going for that one that is just not as dirty as the others that were dirty with you too. I mean, this is what they say. So yeah, what do you guys think about it? And if you have been in China, you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Usually foreigners there just go crazy and they forget the religion and all that. They just try as much as they can because of course they can, and they let them until they cannot afford it anymore. They will be just enjoying themselves in such pleasures.